Hey everybody, my name is Emily. Welcome back to my homestead. I am out in the orchard today and we're going to get some new stuff planted out here. And if we've got some time, maybe we'll also do some maintenance. I mentioned before that the chickens had been out here in the orchard. They have scratched away most of the mulch and the cardboard that we put down last year. And in most cases, it's not too bad of a situation because we were going to put more this year anyway. But in some of them, there's more grass growing up than others. So that is something that needs to get addressed. It looks like most everything survived the first year, the winter, except for this tree. It's a methily plum. And I contacted the company and got a store credit, and so I ordered a new tree and it came. So that is one thing we're going to be doing today. The other one I'm not sure about is the pawpaw tree. It looks like maybe it didn't survive the winter, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I don't think we're within the 1 year window of getting a refund on that because the methylate plum, it just never grew last year at all after it was planted. So I knew it was dead well before this time of year and contacted them, in the summer even. So that may be a loss. But let's go look at this new tree. This is from Rain Tree Nursery. Are unboxing videos still a thing? When my kids were little, my middle child, I think he was maybe 3 at the time, he was obsessed with watching unboxing videos for Bakugan toys on YouTube. And I don't know if people still make videos like that. Kids are still obsessed with them. But this is my unboxing video. I should have had something sharp to cut this tape with. Pretty sure they didn't package it like this last year. This is really hard to open up. Go grab something. Roots are nice and moist. Got some broken pieces here. This is a Hollywood Asian plum, and I believe it's a semi-dwarf. I chose a different variety than I did last year. Not that it was the variety that didn't do well, it was just the tree itself, that specific tree. But they'd raised the prices on every tree by at least $10 as far as I could tell. And my discount, my refund, store credit, did not include shipping. So I still ended up paying like $40 for this tree with the shipping and the increased price of everything. But it sounded like it was going to be a good one. I could put a picture of what it's supposed to look like up on the screen for a second. But we are going to get this dead tree out of here, and we're going to put this plum tree, the new one, in the same spot as the old one. easier than I thought it was going to be. Task 1 completed, other than watering, but I'm going to do that all at the end today. And while I was working on that, one of my teenagers showed up. There were supposed to be 2 of them. There's one. Hopefully the second is coming out pretty soon. But you see all this wood piled up over here? The previous owner, I think, was using it kind of like a pallet system to hold firewood on. At least that's what Google Images makes it look like, and from one of the neighbors that I talked to. Well, we moved some of it out of our way for something, and then the dogs came along and were digging through it looking for mice and chipmunks and things like that, and they keep knocking it over and almost hitting one of my blueberry bushes and some of the trees over there. So we're getting all of this pulled out of here. They're piling it in the truck. Well, one of them is so far. The other one is supposed to be coming out to help. And they're going to get it all taken out of here and put somewhere else for now, because we don't want it there. I also still want to take out these honeysuckle bushes that are all along here. And that pile of wood is definitely in the way of some of those. And then when we get the honeysuckle bushes out, we're going to work on putting up a fence. So those are future orchard projects that are going to be coming your way, hopefully soon. But not on the agenda for today. Just moving the wood, planting this tree, and planting some black raspberry bushes. This is the tree we just planted, and it's at the end of the orchard rows. Beyond that is where I'm going to plant the black raspberry bushes. We've got red raspberry bushes right there. And honestly, I feel like I should have had them closer in so that we could eventually put up a fence, starting at that fence post, going towards that fence post. But we will figure that out later, not today. But I thought over here, since black raspberry bushes do a little better if they have more shade, they're not really gonna get it over here, I guess. In my previous experience with black raspberry bushes, they've been in wooded areas, and that is not really what we have going on here. There's a little bit of shade right along the edge, but I don't know if that's enough for them. Hopefully it's enough for them. If they don't seem to work out, then we will probably eventually move them somewhere else where they for sure will get some more shade, but it will not be able to be in this area with all of the other fruit that we've got going on so far. My middle child was out here mowing yesterday, and he just went up and down between the trees. Absolute minimal things. I don't even think he went around the raspberry bushes over there. But I want to get this area over here mowed, and then I'm going to bring the rototiller over and rototill a strip to plant these berries in. Hopefully the rototiller will start quickly this time, because last time I tried to start it, it took me hours, and I was exhausted just after trying to start the thing. So I'm praying for a quick start this time. second kid showed up while I was working on that. So that is good. They're making faster progress now. Kind of changed my mind a little bit on where exactly I was going to put these berry bushes while I was mowing. So the other raspberry bushes are from this post this way, and I was going to just come over here along the tree line. But there's not a lot of shade here. There's not a lot of shade anywhere, really, but further down here, there is some shade, and it's from pine trees, not honeysuckle bushes. So those are staying. Those aren't getting cut down. So I'm going to put them down here at the far end of this area. Mowing the grass high, that's how I usually do it. And then I put it as low as it could go and scalped it. As you can see, I mean, it got right down to the ground in some places. Especially up here where there were a couple of bumps. Oh, looks like the kids are taking their first load to go stack somewhere else. Good job, kids. So now I'm going to go grab the rototiller and a measuring tape and decide exactly where I'm putting those back here. I give up. I've been working on that thing for probably an hour, much longer than I took video of me and my oldest trying to start it. And I just give up. I'm angry and upset and all kinds of things. I just give up. So I'm gonna go water that tree that I planted. I'm not even going to put the thing away because I'm exhausted right now. Maybe I'll come back out later and try to start it again, but maybe I'll just come out here tomorrow with a shovel and dig a trench to plant the raspberry bushes in. I got it started! I'm so excited, and I also feel like such an idiot. So it was not in neutral. It was still in drive from the last time I was using it. I ran out of gas and it just stopped while I was in motion, and I didn't put it back in neutral before I put it away. So yeah, I feel really dumb. It started up super easily once I realized that, and I'm very excited. I'm a happy idiot. But it is actually a couple days later than the first part of this video, because that next day, which was yesterday, was Mother's Day, and also my middle child's 16th birthday, so we were a little busy, and today I'm not so busy with anything other than this, so let's get to it. right there is about 15 feet of joy, people. I'm just so happy about this. I'm going to go grab some more tools and get all this grass and weeds pulled out of here and hopefully get to planting. There are some areas that are definitely still very rooted in with the grass that is there. So I'm going to go ahead and run the rototiller over another time or two. Just some spots that it looks like it just completely missed somehow. Probably because I'm not an expert at using this machine. I'm just doing my best. So yeah, after a quick little water break, I'm going to do that. And then hopefully that will break up all of that grass and it'll be ready to plant in. I wonder how many times I'm going to say that during this video. Apparently not. It doesn't want to start again, and it is in neutral this time, I swear. It started just like that the first time. Not on camera. Maybe that's the problem, as I was trying to record. Well, before I completely exhaust myself pulling that pull cord, because that will happen. There's not a lot left that I have to get out, so I'll just come in here with my rake and shovel. There's like, this stuff right here, and then some more down here. Not a whole lot. It sure would be a lot easier if the rototiller would just work when I want it to work. But I want to get this done, so we're just going to use the shovel and the rake, and I'm thankful that it did that much, because if I had to do all of that by hand tools, and today it's 85 or 86 degrees Fahrenheit today. It's the hottest day of the year. I don't think it got this hot until August last year, maybe. I'm probably delusional about that, but there were only like a couple of weeks where it got this hot last year, and it wasn't this early. We haven't even reached our last frost date yet. So, yeah, this day is pretty hot, and I'm glad I'm partially at least in the shade today. Not fully in the shade, but at least partially in the shade. Now I'm going to get to doing the rest of this by hand. Good enough. There's definitely still some stuff in there, but it is a world of difference compared to even if I just dug that out without any help from the rototiller. I'm gonna call that good enough and go get some more water for me, some water for the raspberries, and hopefully get to planting. What is that, like the fourth time at least? This time for sure it's happening though. my black raspberries. That one's looking pretty puny. There's a couple of them that aren't looking super hot, but most of them look fantastic. And I'm super excited about these. I like black raspberries, I think, more than red raspberries. So I'm excited about this. Part of it is a nostalgia thing and part of it is a flavor thing. But we grew up picking black raspberries at my grandma's house when we were kids. She had them all over her property, just growing wild. And we'd pick gallons and gallons of them and make all kinds of desserts with them and just eat them fresh. And lots of good memories. Plus, they just taste really good. At our very first house, this is the third house that my husband and I have lived at. We had an apartment, and then we've lived in 3 houses now. At the first house, there was a tree preservation area behind our house, and it had tons of black raspberries, and we ended up with a couple plants growing next to our house that I assume birds planted for us, and they were delicious, and we got tons of them and made all kinds of desserts with them. And then our second house, there were black raspberry bushes growing on the hill behind the house, and again, they were in the trees, not up in the trees, but on the ground underneath the trees. And now we have black raspberry bushes here. I'm super excited. There are red raspberry bushes growing around the property wild. And we got very few raspberries last year from those, just like a few, a handful maybe total. And I don't know if it was the deer or they just didn't produce well last year. But that would be cool if those gave us fruit at some point. But these are definitely going to give us fruit. I'm so excited about these. I'm hoping that the red raspberries, they are over there, that they will do better this year than they did last year. I'm worried that they're in too much of a sunshine area, and if that is the case, then I will probably move them over to this tree line as well in the future. And I'm hoping that we'll expand this black raspberry patch to contain more black raspberries, because they will multiply and they will spread, and I am 100% okay with that. So that is it for today, and thank you so much for hanging out with me while we did these fruit projects, new plum tree and new raspberry bushes. Not technically bushes, but they get bushy, so that's what I call them. But thank you so much for coming along. What an emotional roller coaster, though. Like yesterday, the day before yesterday, the first part of the video, I was so super bummed when I couldn't get the rototiller to start, but I'm completely on the opposite end of that today because I did get it started. Sometimes I feel like my channel maybe should be called Homesteading the Hard Way, or Homesteading by Hand, because all I do is do stuff by hand, like cultivating the ground with hand tools and my hands. I'm so glad we got this done, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye!